Right, welcome back. And definitely the scale of humanitarian suffering is increasing every day due to the loggerhead of both parties there. And definitely this is unprecedented situation of shortage of everything, of people fleeing their country in such a particular way. And here came the importance of this neighbor countries summit in order to find a permanent solution to this crisis, to highlight the issue and give us more detail. We have with us over the phone His Excellency Ambassador Gamal Bayoumi, former Assistant Foreign Minister. Good afternoon to you, Your Excellency. Hello.
Yes.
Good afternoon to you, Your Excellency.
Good afternoon.
Right. So, Your Excellency, here we're speaking about a very complicated situation in Sudan. And we're speaking about the scale of humanitarian crisis. How do you view the situation?
Very complicated, as you rightly said. Generally, we have witnessed differences between tribes and parties in any country, especially in Africa. And this, thank God, we do not see in a country like Egypt, because you feel Egyptian whether you are from Alexandria or I am from Aswan. So Sudan divided itself from Egypt because of this thinking of tribes. But unfortunately, Sudan itself became two countries, North Sudan and South Sudan. Now each Sudan of them is looking to more division among their tribes and parties. In Africa, I have witnessed this many times, even in Nigeria, the largest country in Africa. But one Nigerian diplomat told me that whenever the tribes or the parties are indifferent, they go immediately to the army. The military feel always that they belong to the country, not to the tribe. And this luxury we cannot see in Sudan, because even the army itself is divided among itself. So it is highly complicated, and the problem that each side is heavily armed and is using his army against the other party. So although I am always optimistic, but here I am reserved to be optimistic. The situation is highly complicated, and it needs to convince those people that their country and their one flag is something which should come above any feeling to the party or the tribe. But it is not an easy task. I hope that we can succeed to do that.
We're speaking here, Your Excellency, about the Sovereign Council that was include the institutions of the country, or the real institutions of the country. We're speaking about a measure that should have been grasped, taken into the national army. What complicated the situation, and how do you view the outer parties' effect on the situation?
The complication came when the army, which is the symbol of the unity of the country, is divided among itself, and the army is fighting itself. So it is a very weak point in the solidarity of this country and this government. So who can replace those two parts of the army who are fighting each other? Highly complicated, and you feel that there isn't big power or a big leadership that some people would be looking forward that they can come to a solution.
Yes. But here I'm speaking about the national army and the militia, that the army wanted them to be integrated into the national army. And hence came the problem here. So we're speaking about a very unreasonable situation here. So what I'm speaking...
Yes. Yes, because each side, whether the army or those who are fighting from within the army, each side thinks that he has the right to rule the country alone. And there is no way to sort of compromise, to have something in the middle between all of these. So they will continue fighting until one side is highly fatigued and feel that they cannot continue. Then maybe we shall see an attitude for solution.
Another part is what is needed from the outside parties. We're speaking here about different parties that are very much into the issue, but what is really needed from them?
Here we have the United Nations representative. We have some representative from the European Union. The Arab League is interfering. Then we have a big neighbor country and brother country, which is Egypt. What is requested from us is to assure every side that it will not come at the end of the game losing everything. And a good negotiator should seek to give each side some results, because it is not what we say in negotiation. It's not a zero-sum game. It is 50-50. Each side should be assured from all the power of international and regional and bilateral level that they will not lose everything, but they will gain something at the end, and each party will have the right to have part of the ruling game in its country. And we are still, in my opinion, far from this point.
Your Excellency, how do you view the role Egypt is playing and has always been playing, particularly with its brothers and particularly with Sudan?
Here comes our role. As a matter of fact, Egypt is the largest neighbor country, and we are hosting, even before this crisis, more than 4 million inhabitants of Sudanese. They live very normally, and you do not feel that they are sort of guests or migrants. Now we have another 500,000 coming to our border, and we have to accept them. And the good thing that Egypt makes them feel that they are living normally in their second country. So how far we can continue like that, I don't know. But my whole feeling and all thinking is what is going to happen in Sudan, whether in the North Sudan or in the South Sudan, because there are hidden conflicts on both sides, and within each side there are conflicts. So the North Sudan, which was separated from the South, now it is threatened by more and more division between Darfur and Port Sudan and Khartoum. It is a sad story, and really I am not encouraged to think that there is a quick solution. There isn't a quick solution. There must be either a compromise among all the parties, or a big foreign force to come and to rule the matter, which is not in the scene at all for the time being.
And which is not requested. There should be an African solution to the matter here, sir, or for brotherly countries. If I may ask you here, yes, you spoke about Egypt's role on the humanitarian level. However, there is much to come. What is requested at this upcoming stage?
More and more dialogue, and if the dialogue is continued between the parties under the umbrella and the supervision of a good friend and brother like Egypt, and of course the African Union or the Arab League, to make sure that any agreement between the parties will be supported by all of us, whether the international level or the regional, or the big countries like Egypt or the neighbor countries. This is what we need at this point. Hopefully that the Sudanese themselves will come to reason and tell us what do they really want, what is the limit for each side of them.
Indeed, yes. Ambassador Gamal Bayoumi, former assistant foreign minister, thank you so much for being with us. Yes, very much indeed, the Sudanese crisis, as well as many other important conflicts that are ongoing, but particularly Sudan, which is our depth of our national security. It needs goodwill and sincere actions and sincere plans. I guess that brings us to the end of this episode of our program, Arab Affairs. Next Saturday, we'll be speaking about another file. Until then,